I can't believe I've been doing YouTube for just over a year now, and I never expected that in that time I would reach 15,000 subscribers. So thank you to everyone that watches my videos and helping me to get this far, as it gives me so much motivation and encouragement to keep going. I also want to say at this point in the video to stick around to the end, as I'm going to announce a competition where you can win an awesome RGB HDMI cable from Vivify. It's a very cool cable and I've actually used it in my home theater setup, so make sure you stick around to the end. I'd also like to thank Govee for sponsoring part of this video by sending me the lighting which I will be using in the YouTube studio build. In that vein, let's get to the point of this video, and that is that I'm going to create a dedicated YouTube filming studio so that I can make more diverse content, and this setup is going to allow me to do just what I want to do in a very efficient way. Currently, I film in my home theater, which is properly acoustically treated and has awesome lighting, but I'm sick of dragging all the gear in each time I want to make a video, set everything up, and every video ends up having a different look, which while isn't a huge problem, is something that I want to change so that I can have some consistency from video to video and stop making some of the mistakes that have been happening during the recording process that I don't pick up until post-production. So the plan was to empty out the study and set up a YouTube studio and create 3 distinctive spaces which I can shoot videos for any type of content that I want to make. The first space would be the editing rig so that I can edit comfortably and also shoot tutorials or other content from the desk directly. The second space would be a familiar setting to my current videos with a big armchair and some curtains behind it to give that real theater vibe. And the last space, and probably the most critical space, is an unboxing station. But this unboxing station is going to be a powerhouse of features because my plan is to rig a 3-point camera system on it so that I can capture and record what I'm doing from lots of different angles. So once we had a rough plan, I took my daughter to IKEA and she steered me around, helping me pick out some of the things that I was going to need to build the studio. We spent over half a day in there, but by the end we had everything picked out and ordered, and it was time to get home and have a rest. I will leave links in the description to everything in this video that we used, as most of the setup was from IKEA, so check the links in the description. The next thing we had to do was clear out the room, which was probably the least favorite part of the process, dismantling the computers, the desks, and clearing everything out, also throwing out all of the junk that somehow we managed to accumulate over the last year and a half since we finished building the house. Once we had the space nice and clear, we began patching and sanding and masking up the walls in preparation for paint. I knew that I wanted a dark backdrop as I love filming in my home theater, but the wife wanted something a little warmer, so we picked the Dulux Wayward Grey, which felt like it had some brown undertones in it, and it's a little warmer than just plain black. So I masked up the walls and the skirting boards, put down the drop sheets, and my wife started by cutting the edges in. And then I began to do the painting. At the moment in Sydney, we are experiencing a deluge of rain, which isn't the best conditions to paint in, and my beard was going absolutely crazy due to the humidity and the moisture in the air. But before long, I had finished painting all of the walls, and it was time to take a short break before peeling the tape off and cleaning the room so that I could start assembling all of the furniture. As I don't like being offline for too long, I started with the desk first. I wanted a standing desk, so I chose the Bacant underframe, which is 160 centimeters by 80 centimeters on its own, and while it does have a matching tabletop, I wanted something to match the unboxing station countertop, which I'll get into in a little bit. So I went with the real wood veneer in the Skogska, which comes in at 186 centimeters wide, but being just the countertop meant that there were no mounting holes in it for the Bacant. So I measured up, found the center line, and using a drill bit, I worked out the depth that the plugs were going to need to go to secure the frame to the countertop, and then I wrapped a bit of tape around the drill so that I didn't over drill and go through the other side, meaning that I could actually use their mounting system. Rinse and repeat for the other sections, and I also added a little bit of glue for extra strength. Once the table was built, we put it into place, and already I could feel the room starting to come together. Now, don't judge the cable management just yet. This is something very near and dear to my heart. I'll leave a link up above to a video that I've made on cable management, but I do have some stuff on order which I'm waiting to arrive. But as I was anxious to get back online, we set the computer back up, brought in the armchair, which will be in front of the acoustic curtain, which I haven't got just yet, and a few other bits and pieces like this very classic looking table lamp called the Ranarp. And then we decided to call it a day. After doing my morning chores, I grabbed my son and then we got to building the main event of this room, and that is the unboxing station. Now, let me explain this a little bit more. So as I do a fair amount of product reviews and unboxings, and it's something that I really want to continue on my channel, I wanted something that would allow me to film multiple shots at the same time, while not taking up a lot of space with the camera rigging, lighting, and drilling brackets into the walls. I also needed something for fast ramp up time so as not to waste time with cables and moving cameras around. This was when my daughter suggested the Vladholma, which is actually a kitchen island, and I absolutely fell in love with the benchtop and how thick and substantial it looked, as well as the real wood veneer. It would also make an interesting backdrop for the overhead shots that I was planning to take. The biggest draw card after the benchtop for me is the overhead rail system, which is intended to hold pots and pans and hooks to hang utensils, but I saw rails to put friction arms, microphones, lights and cameras, which meant that I could build a robust unboxing station in a small space that I had in my study. At the time of recording, I don't have all of the gear in just yet, but I will be dedicating a whole video to the rig I plan on building, so consider subscribing to the channel if you'd like to be notified when I drop that video. I was surprised how easily it went together and also how solid and strong it was, especially with this super thick bench top. It had some real heft to it. And then of course I had to do a couple of test shots with the camera to see how it would come out, and I was really happy with how it looked in camera. The last bits of furniture left were the stool, which is the Troll Burget, a very comfortable stool, solid and matches the decor perfectly, as well as the Helmer drawer unit, which sadly won't fit under my standing desk, but it does fit off to the side. And then I also had to get the Fejka, which is an artificial plant. I had to go this way as the plan is to put some nice thick acoustic curtains to cover the windows, so there won't be any natural light to feed the plant, unfortunately. So this brings me to the sponsors of the YouTube Studio Build video series, and the first one is Govee, and I absolutely love my Govee lights. If you want to check out my star ceiling video where I use Govee LED strips for the perimeter lighting, I'll leave a link in the card up above so that you can check out that video. Govee are sending me some more lights to finish off the studio, so I will have a dedicated video just on the lighting setup in this studio space, as it's going to be a very cool setup when it's done, featuring a mix of proper photography lights as well as the consumer lights by Govee. But for now, we do have the Govee touch lamps, which feature RGB lights in them which can display multiple colors, and I can't wait to unbox those, as well as the Flow Pro light bars, and I have a very cool idea for how I want to use those, so stay tuned for the next video where I'm going to do that. They also sent me an immersion kit which goes behind the TV and can extend the light out to create bias lighting, and I haven't quite worked out where I'm going to use that yet, but I have some ideas, so stay tuned for that as well. I'd like to thank Govee for sending these to me and for the additional lights that are coming. The next sponsor of the video series is Vivify, and they make a range of high quality HDMI cables which feature RGB. So I will be showing more of these awesome cables in an upcoming video, but if you'd like to enter the competition where you can win a set for yourself, all you need to do is leave a comment down below and the winner will be picked totally at random. The draw ends in 2 weeks on the 5th of April, so make sure you leave a comment down below letting me know what you think of my setup so far for a chance to win a very cool RGB HDMI cable by Vivify. So there is still quite a bit to finish in the studio before it's considered done. I have to mount the very cool Scatus pin boards, which I will use to hold the bits and pieces and the tools and the necessary equipment that I use daily, as well as the wall art, acoustic panels, the acoustic curtains, some additional shelving, as well as what I mentioned earlier, and that is the lighting and the recording setup. So make sure you subscribe to the channel as I work super hard on part 2 to this video. A very big thank you for watching, but that's it for this one. You'll catch me in the next one. Bye for now.